My darling.
Too many blueberries. I had to start over because I had blueberries between my teeth, and I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to focus on anything. Hello, welcome back, my darlings. Hello, 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 Instagram and YouTube. I have been I'm so sorry I didn't make it yesterday on Tuesday because I really want to complete this series, and I know that so many of you are actually enjoying this and learning so much. As usual, I will be in the House of Swans in just about a few minutes. But whilst I'm there, before I go there, I'm going to share as much as possible. I just have a word for somebody. Listen, I was praying with my coaches a few days ago and my team, and I just saw God doing some crazy, miraculous stuff with women over 50. And so if you're over 50 and you're like, is it over for me? Am I ever gonna? Girl, let me tell you something. Right after God began to prophesy, and I said to the girls, I see God doing something with women over 50. And I know that it's probably a bigger conversation, which is God is doing something with women who think their time has passed. Okay. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and you think my time has passed, I just want you to know that he hasn't even started with you. Okay. I want to leave that with you because I feel like somebody needs that encouragement. And right after we did those prayers, I got a call from a 70-year-old. Today I was having a conversation with a 60-year-old, and that word just came down. And I want you to be encouraged, okay? That it's not too late. I promise you, it's not too late. It's not too late. Your love story is about to begin. Whatever age you are, whatever stage you are, I'm not saying that because I want to make you girls feel good, because anyone who knows me knows I just tell the truth and shame the devil, okay? And I give it to you straight. But I'm not here to give you bubbles. I want you to know that God is ready for your true love story, okay? So my job is to prepare you. And everything I'm going to share with you tonight is something you can apply at any age, at any time, at any point in your life. Okay, let's go. So we've discussed a few. For those of you who want to keep on top of the series, please go to YouTube, because I won't be saving the lives on Instagram. They will be saved on YouTube. So, because it just works better that way. Okay. So go to YouTube if you want to see all the parts. Until I'm done. Okay, let's get into it because I don't want to waste anybody's time. The fourth one is words don't work on men. One thing I wish I knew when I was younger is that words don't work on men. They're just not women, okay? Because women and feminine energy falls in love with her ears. It's what a man says to a woman that makes her feel wanted, needed. Is the communication, is the consistency in the communication, is the quality of the words. A man who might not necessarily be your type can talk to you in such a way that you'd be like, think about it. When we're with our girlfriends, what do we talk about? The things he said. Oh, and then he said, I'm really pretty, and he said, and he said. And those words, if women dated with their ears closed, it would do us all the world of good. But we are designed to fall in love with our ears. We're also designed to fall out of love with our ears. Masculine energy is designed to fall in love with their eyes and fall out of love with their eyes. Yes, a man can lose attraction for you at a certain point, but we can talk about that sometime later. But men, words don't work on men. Men, masculine men, which are the only men that we really discuss over here, are very, in a man's world, words are very few, actions allowed, okay? So to a man, actions are a language. Men speak through actions. You're so welcome. Men speak through action. Actions are a language for men. The woman that is able to decipher a man's actions really well and interpret them properly tends to be really good with men, tends to understand men. Okay. So men are going to respect the language that they speak, not the language that women speak. What does that mean? You cannot get a man to change by talking his ear off. Okay, you can't, oh, you don't value me. You don't appreciate me. I wish you could just do this, and I wish you could do that. You could hop on and on and on, because a lot of women come to me like, what shall I say to him? What shall I say to him that is going to make him understand me? I don't feel like he listens to me. I don't feel like he gets me, because men do not give much weight to the volume of words. Okay. In fact, they have a feature in their brain that literally switches off after about 15 minutes of listening to chatter. Okay, so if you're talking for an hour, he's gone now. His mind is gone. He's not listening anymore. Not listening with the listening that you hope that he will listen. What men actually really respond to a very few, very specific set of words, okay? But more than anything, they observe actions. And this is where so many of us fall short, because we think we can talk a man into falling in love with us. We think we can have a conversation. Now, this is possible. Conversations have a place in the relationship dynamic, but they're not really what men respect. Men respect actions, and men cannot fall in love with a woman they do not respect. So if you want to set a boundary, you have to have a corresponding consequence if that boundary is not met, and then follow through with that consequence, because that is the only thing he will listen to. So if you're that girl who is like, you know what, if I don't get treated right in this relationship, I'm out. And then he doesn't treat you right, and you're still there, but you're yapping. I'm out, I don't tolerate anything. I told him, and I tell these men, I told him, they're not listening. Okay, not listening. No. They're not. A man will think to himself, if it's that bad, why is she still coming back? If it's that bad, why is she still here? That's it, and that's all. If it was that bad, she should have gone. But actually, she just wants to talk, and harass me with her mouth. Men respect actions. Women who stand on their word. Women who move, act in silence. They're always watching. And we think they're like women. We think we're going to talk them out of a position. No. You set boundaries. You set boundaries and you give consequences. But here's where we fail. Here's where we fail. We fail when we actually think that the consequence is just going to be experienced by him. So you really wanted to go on this date. You really wanted to see him. It's been so long before you've seen this guy. And you are so excited for this date, but he doesn't confirm, or he leaves it too late. Now you're angry. You're angry, but you still want to go. So what do? You decide, I'm going to talk his ear off. I'm going to tell him my boundaries. I'm going to tell him this is not acceptable. I'm going to sulk. I'm going to show up with a bad attitude, blah, blah, blah. But actually the truth is you really want to see him, and you really are excited, and you really want to spend a wonderful time with him, but you're just thinking, if I have an attitude or if I talk his ear off, he's going to get it and it won't happen next time because I really told him. The truth of the matter is, a woman who actually wants to be taken seriously by the man, if he does not follow through and give you adequate notice, you simply make other plans. Yeah, it will suck a lot that you won't go on that date. But if you have made it clear that you need a certain amount of time, you need to know, And he's gonna try and do a last minute call. Yeah, we're going. It's just some last minute. You can't plan your life around. All you do is make other plans, and you say, "Oh, I didn't hear from you, so I made other plans. But I'm available next week on Thursday at 9 p.m. and Friday at 10 p.m." We're not gonna remember what we said last week. We don't yell, we don't do attitude, we don't do all that. Okay? We simply, okay? We simply, calmly, gently use very few words. I didn't hear from you. What you're letting him know is, I need to hear from you to prioritize you. That is it, and that is all. And so I didn't hear from you yesterday, so I went ahead and made plans. I was really looking forward to it, but when I didn't hear from you, I went and made plans. But I'm available on this date to give you an opportunity to have another date. And if he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, what happened was the dog, the pig, the cat, the animal, the plane," you would simply say, "I understand. Unfortunately, I can't change my plans, but I am available on Thursday and Friday. Let me know which day works for you, and just confirm a few hours or 24 hours before so that I don't make any more plans." Okay. That is what he respects. He's never gonna do that again. If he likes you, he's never gonna do it again. Because you didn't disrespect him. You didn't. If he says, "Oh, why don't you just cancel your plans because I was going to take you to a restaurant in Paris." I don't care what it is. I don't care if he was going to take you to the moon for a Michelin star dinner. It doesn't matter if he was going to take you to a concert and he was just waiting and he had the tickets and who's he going to go with and whatever. It doesn't matter what he throws your way. You have made plans. Even if those plans are to wash your hair. Yes, it's going to suck eggs. It's going to suck because you might have wanted to go. You'll be looking forward to go. This is what you've always wanted to do. It doesn't matter what he throws your way. If you want a man to treat you right, to treat you well long term, you make the short term sacrifices. And he's going to think to himself, "Geez, this girl don't play." Because that's a language he understands. That's a language men understand. They understand that. They don't understand that. No. They don't understand that. They don't listen to that. They understand gentle, soft boundaries. That is it, and that is all. Okay. Any questions, class? How can I clarify that for you? Do you understand what I've just shared with you? Okay. So that is an example. What can you do that makes it clear that this behavior, this attitude will never do without disrespecting him, not even an inkling? Without running your mouth like you're crazy. And this applies to married women, single women. I teach this to married women all the time. Stop yelling at him. Stop screaming. Stop shouting. Stop asking him to do it for the 100th time. You ask once, and the second time, you wait for him. You get on a ladder. And you wobble, okay? He will get up and help you because he's never gonna want that to be the situation, or you hire somebody to come and fix it. Actions. Men speak the language of actions. You need to communicate to them in the language they understand, not the language you understand. Now, men need to be educated too, because men try to speak to women through actions instead of actually communicate. Words, sir. We need words. That's the female language. So when I coach men, I'm like, you're gonna have to verbally articulate. okay? Because women's language is words, okay? So a man has to say, okay? Remember, masculinity is light, femininity is dark. Everything about the feminine is implied, it is subtle, it is felt, it is experienced. Everything about the masculine is overt, it is clear, it is directive. So a man has to say, I don't appreciate it when I make a date and you become unavailable. This is something I'm not willing to continue to tolerate. This will never do. A man has to verbalize. Because if he actions, we're going to think he's the little girl. We're going to think, why are you sulking? Right? Men are not to behave this way. Gentlemen, if you're watching me, these are not how you set boundaries as a man. You set them with your words. Your words. Women, you set with your actions. Okay? And if you need help with that on a more practical level, join the House of Swans. Okay? It's free. Okay? Join the House of Swans where we can talk through it and all the things. All right? Or book a one-to-one call with me. If you want to do that, just go to my DMs. All right, my loves? So if I had known this, I would have saved myself pain and suffering, feeling unseen and unheard. Okay? It's really so very important that we understand this. I want to go to the next one. If you got any questions about what I've just said, feel free. Love you too, Edna. Thank you. Feel free to ask a follow-up question because I want you to understand this. We're not going to win with men when we run our mouth. Our words should be very precious to a guy. He should actually want to listen because you don't use too many. Okay? They don't want to hear that. Okay. Save yourself the hassle. All right. Don't learn these lessons too late in life. All right? Good. Number 5. A man would rather be admired than pitied. Okay. Admiration of him is more intoxicating than compassion. This really matters because when I was younger, I used to think I needed to show compassion. Oh, you poor thing, do you need me to help you? Do you need help? Oh, you're going through so much. Oh, I used to think that playing the therapist would endear him to me. Alas, it does not. Showing a man compassion, now, don't get me wrong, compassion is useful for every human being. All of these emotions, all these things are good. But I want you to know that not everything carries the same level of currency for men that it does for women. The exchange rate is different. Okay? For us, it's heavier. We need that compassion, that love. Come here, baby. Let me just hold you and make sure you're okay. We need all that. Men don't need that. What a man really, truly wants from you, is to be admired. He really wants to be your hero. He really wants you to admire him. To say, wow, you're just so smart. You're so clever. And like I said last week, can we do that only for men who are deserving, please? And thank you. Don't be talking to me about some useless idiot that you're dating who you're going to try and admire by force. If you don't admire him, you don't admire him. And this is why it doesn't work when we date men we don't respect. It will never work. You can never take a loser, somebody who's completely incompatible, who does not have sense, and then try to use these skills on him. You will only be opening yourself up to abuse, okay? We're talking about men who have sense, okay? You have chosen this man because his character, his integrity, everything about him says you are worthy of me. He doesn't need you to feel sorry for him. He doesn't need you to be this compassionate person who's just mothering. It's nice when you're compassionate in a season where he's sharing something that requires compassion. Yeah, he's sharing a story that requires compassion. But he doesn't need your compassion. He doesn't need your help to pay the bills. He doesn't need you wading in and fixing the problem and doing his CV and covering and heavy lifting and all the things. He needs you to admire him. That's what he needs. He needs you to think, wow, you're so smart, you're so clever. Okay? That is what he needs. And can I just say, it's not about words. Okay? Again, it's not about words. It's the way you look at him. And some of us, are so like, if a man catches those little eye movements that we like to do, and you look at him like, what a loser. Okay. That is, he's not going to miss that. You can go around and say, oh, you're so special. You're so, but he caught those weird eye movements earlier a few times before. Okay. Men know if you admire them by just your posture, the way you are, the way you look at him, the way you, wow. It's a deeper inner body experience, and that is more powerful than just your words that are not followed by that action. He needs to be admired, and you as the feminine need to be adored, okay? And sometimes we adore men when men actually wish to be admired, to be seen as heroes and great and smart and all the things. Whereas to be adored is to be cherished, to be taken care of, and to be seen as, oh, you're so lovely, you're so wonderful. That's what we want. That's what we need as feminine women. We don't necessarily want to be admired. You go on a date with a guy and it's like, oh, you're so successful, you're so smart. It's, thanks, But I'd rather you told me that I'm just so lovely and you just think I'm so cute and you just want to cuddle me and spoil me and give me all the things, right? Because we want to be cherished. A feminine woman wants to be cherished and adored. Feel like she's the only girl in the world, all of the things, okay? Whereas a man wants to feel like the tallest, strongest, most powerful man in your presence, okay? So quit trying to save a man. Quit trying to give him that compassion and give him your admiration instead. Okay, I got a question. Can you regain? Oh, let me read the first one. Chengi, thank you so much for the Black Stone Relationship content on the YouTube. You are so welcome. I've learned so much from you in just under 2 months. I am so happy to hear it. I had a quick question. Is it okay to accept gifts or flowers from a man who's showing interest when I'm not yet sure about him? Or should I wait until I'm certain about him first? I love this question. Men gesture, okay? Gesturing is a masculine thing. Gesturing his interest in you, gesturing his desire for you. That is absolutely fine to be receptive if you are genuinely giving him a proper chance. And when I say genuinely giving him a proper chance, if in your heart you know you're not using him and you're not wasting his time, but you're genuinely trying to get to know him and genuinely trying to understand him, absolutely be receptive. Why? Because we as feminine women are supposed to fall in love with because of what a man does for us, okay? It is what a man does for us that shows us that we're cherished, that shows us that we're special to him. That's how our bodies fall in love, okay? If your body falls in love because he's just sexy, that is not falling in love, and that is not a connection, that is an attachment, okay? If your body falls in love because he's good with his words and a smooth criminal, okay? That is not connection, that is just an attachment. The female, the feminine body falls in love with receiving. The more we receive from a man, the more we receive from him, the more our hearts begin to open to him, because that's how we are psychologically, biologically, and spiritually wired. Okay, so for those of you who are Bible-based, follow me. So Isaac's bride comes, Abraham's servant goes to find Isaac's wife, okay? And he takes gifts, and he takes gold and silver and all these things. And when you read that scripture, he goes and presents her, and he goes and he gives her all of these things. And she's asked by her brothers, do you want to go? It was the gesture, it was the generosity, it was all of that. Now the modern man will say she's a gold digger, okay, because that the natural state of the feminine has been so vilified, right? When a woman responds to a man's generosity and opens her heart and begins to develop attraction for him because of his generosity, she's a gold digger. She's a gold digger, right? No, she's in her divine feminine. A woman is never ever supposed to fall in love just because he's pretty. That's a woman's job. A man can fall in love because she's pretty. A woman who's in her feminine falls in love because of what he does, the safety he provides, the security he provides, the generosity he gives her, opens his heart. Otherwise, if we're gonna go based on looks, men are just not pretty creatures, okay? You get the one or two that are just so fine, Lord Jesus, but they're not enough. Nobody would get married because, let's be honest, men are not, beautiful creatures, okay? Can we be honest? They are strong and sexy, and if you're heterosexual, you love them with all you just love the way they are, right? But they are not forms of beauty. Beauty has been given to woman. Woman is the one with the curves and the soft skin and all the things, right? She's designed to be beautiful, and every woman is. In one culture, one context, somewhere in the world, you are the most beautiful thing that's ever walked, okay? You don't have to compare yourself to one culture or one ideology of beauty, but a woman is built to please the masculine eye, to draw the masculine gaze. Yes. Oh, women are just doing things to draw the masculine gaze. That's okay. That's divine order. Okay, you're supposed to draw his gaze, all right? So receiving from a man that we're genuinely interested in is right and is kind and is good. But this is what I say. If after the third date, you just are not feeling it, this is where you say, listen, I've enjoyed spending time with you, but I'm not feeling the romantic chemistry that I need to pursue this. And I don't want you to feel used. So I'm prepared to spend time with you, but just as friends, okay? This is where we elevate and date like black swans, and we date like women of standards and quality, okay? So if after the third date, your body just is not choosing him, okay, and it might be because you need to do some work, all right? Or it might just be he's not for you, right? Not past the third date, all right? I hope that answers your question. Somebody else says, can you regain admiration or respect for a man if you're losing it or have already lost it? That is data. That is very important data. Admiration for a man is not something we're supposed to conjure up from the deep recesses of our belly. Okay, you're not supposed to fight to admire a man. A man is supposed to show up admirable. Okay? And we're talking about choosing a partner. Hi, Swig. We're talking about choosing a partner who we are gonna do life with permanently. Okay. It's not about just getting this guy to be attracted to you. Do you truly admire him? That is data. If you genuinely don't admire him, if you genuinely think he's a bozo or an idiot or stupid, and if you've lost admiration for him, you can't go farm that. You can't farm it. It is up to a man who knows what he wants, goes for what he wants, invests in what he wants, in effort, in investment, to be admirable, to show himself as a man that you can admire. This is so important. And then we're all sitting here thinking, shoot, where are those guys? They are everywhere. Interesting thing about men is they have all of these qualities in them, but they just come out for a certain type of woman, okay? Men know when a woman holds herself to a very high standard of how she treats herself, how she conducts herself, they know how to level up for that woman, how to be everything she would admire. Okay, so sometimes we can stop admiring a man. I said sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes we stop admiring a man because we stopped becoming the woman he wanted to be admired by. Maybe because we disrespected him at some point. Maybe because we did that thing I was talking about. Okay, and he decides, you know what, you're good for a lay. I'm gonna stick around for a lay because I don't know what language this is, boo boo. I'm gonna see if I can translate that. I don't think I can. Somebody translate Edna's comments for me so that I can understand. Right? So sometimes we create a dynamic where we disrespect a man, or and disrespect again is a conversation that I can have with you in the House of Swans at length, because disrespect for women and disrespect for men looks very different. Okay, so sometimes we think, but I was respectful, but whose standards? By whose standards and by whose definition? Okay, so sometimes we can be disrespectful without being aware, and the man decides, you know what, she's not worth my effort, she's not worth that part of me. So the feminine is built to inspire. The feminine is influential, inspirational, and wise. Okay, so we can bring out of a man his masculinity, if he has it at all, by truly inspiring him. It's not, you cannot require a man to be admirable, right? You have to inspire him. A man has to want to from himself, because of who you are, because of your essence, because of your conduct, because of your kindness, because of your warmth, and because of your boundaries. He's going to know very quickly, not this one, not today. Okay, she's not the one I'm going to play those silly games. Men know very quickly, right, the kind of woman they can play with and the one that they have to literally ascend and be the best man that they can be for. And unfortunately, like I've said in past lives, too few of us are capable of being that woman, because nobody actually taught us how to be her. Okay, we're taught to go to school, get a degree, and all the things, but no one ever taught us how to be her. The next one thing I wish I knew when I was younger. You are so welcome. Do you have any tips for online dating? Loads, but I don't want to go astray. I want to stay to the program. Okay, you can join the House of Swans on school, and we can talk about that in one of my live calls. All right. The next one is managed access and equal experience. I wish I knew that managing a man's access to me didn't equal giving him a terrible experience of me. Okay. The game, the balance is between access. How accessible are you? Okay. What this looks like is you have a life. You have the things, hopefully you're working on a life that you love. And this man wants to access your time. He wants to access your space. He wants to access your spirit. Okay. If you truly have high self-worth, high self-esteem, and you truly value who you are, because when you come into a man's life, his life just 10x's, 100x's, because you know who you are, you know how to connect to your feminine, and therefore know how to connect to God in a way that births new life spiritually into whoever's life you're in, then access to you should not be something that a man just gets willy-nilly. And I'm going to touch on a bit of online dating. So I had one of the girls in the House of Swans asking me a question. She'd been talking to these guys for like 9 days or whatever. I said to her, Okay. You are giving this man 9 days access to you? Who are you? Why is he getting 9 days access to you? What he needs is not more than 3 days. We don't do 3 days. And there's scripts in the House of Swans about what you can say at that third date, okay? But we don't give men that much access. You're already giving a perfect stranger who you've not met, who you've not smelled, and we're going to talk about the smelling thing maybe on this list somewhere. Okay, you got to smell a man. Okay, you got to smell his pheromones. Your body will take a lot of data just from his pheromones. Okay, especially if you're dating consciously. And you have not met him. He has not made a time investment, a financial investment. He has not put any effort, and you have given him 9 days. What are you communicating to this man? That you are a city without walls. Anybody and everybody can get access to your time for as long as they want to. You have devalued yourself. Access to me, access to you must come with effort and investment. What talking is he talking? Talking. Why is he talking to you? Men don't like to talk? Why is he talking? Why? I'll tell you why he's talking. Because he wants to build an emotional connection with you so that by the time he meets you after 25,000 conversations, you feel you know him. And you're ready to go home with him. That's what's going on. And there has been no effort, no investment, nothing. So when we're talking about managing access, it is your job to put a price. And this is not financial, girls, I swear to God. I had a guy friend of mine say that he slipped into a girl's DMs and she said, if you want to talk to me, send me money. Can I just say how hood, how ghetto, how disgusting? Listen, girls, we need to become wise women, okay? Wisdom is the principal thing. If you're gonna go around the internet and pick up little nuggets and think you're gonna exercise them with men, you're gonna be the loser in the game, because not everyone should even have access to your ears. Okay. No, I saw this thing trending and I thought, how ridiculous. And this is a sign that we are not mothered, that we are not parented properly. Why does a man have to be? I remember I was walking down the street the other day, and this is so prevalent. We just need to quit. And guess what? I know there's a whole side of the internet that's going to think she's teaching you how to be a pick-me. I'm teaching you how to be regal. I'm teaching you how to attract, because girls like me date high quality, high status. My clients date high quality, high status. And I am teaching you how to date and marry high quality and high status men. We don't mess with broke men. But I'm telling you something about a high quality and high status man. You do that and he's out. And this friend of mine, he's very affluent, very good looking, and she was doing the send me money if you want to talk to me. I remember walking down the street and one guy said to me, what's your bank account? I was mortified. I was like, what? What did my bank account? That's ridiculous. And why did he do that? Because that's what's the requirement now. You got to transfer some money before you can talk to me. Listen, leave those things alone, okay? Leave those things alone if you want to be married to a good quality man and if you want that man to cherish you, because he will put money in your account and he will have only one goal, and that goal will never change. You got to be careful about the dynamics we set in place. So when I say a man must make an investment and effort, that has nothing to do with him sending money to your account. Do not be ridiculous. In fact, unfollow me right now if you're one of those. I don't even want you on my page. Get lost. Bye. Okay, because we're not going to contaminate my community. We're high quality, high status, high worth, classy women here. If you can't be with that, please unfollow. Just go. All right, go to your side of the internet where you are all going to be miserable and whatever else you're going to do. Okay, but here is about healthy relationships. Okay, I've had my rant. Let me come back to myself. Okay, so We want this man to be effortful. That means great quality conversation, getting to know you in such a way that he can actually plan a date, not getting to know you for the sake of getting to know you, not just wasting your time. He's getting to know you because he wants to be able to plan the perfect first date, and he is actively planning, putting that effort in, and actually spending his money on the actual date that he is taking you on, not sending you money, okay? Lord God. All right. But just because we manage access, we gotta understand that managing access is part of how we demonstrate that we're high value. So you're only available on 2 days after a certain time, okay? Because we're available, we're receptive, we're feminine women, okay? But what we're not gonna do is, I'm not available the whole week, but then I'm gonna start moving my week around to plonk this man that you just met. I don't know you. Why am I changing my schedule around to fit you in? I am gonna make myself available at my earliest convenience, okay? If it's gonna be the following week, you can say, I would love to meet you for this, or go on a date with you for that. I would love whatever he is suggesting, okay? That sounds brilliant. Unfortunately, I'm not available this week. It's rather busy, but I am available the next week. Okay. And you give him 2 dates for the next week. Now, here is the key, girls. Okay. When you do meet him, when you do spend time with him, it's gotta be so amazing. It has to be a pleasant, you have to be a pleasant experience. Because if you are not a pleasant experience and you manage access, then you're just playing hard to get. You're playing a game, and game attracts game, okay? If you stop playing games, you will attract game. You have to be a pleasant experience. On the days you're available, your one job is to be a pleasant experience. Okay. Now, if you're a woman that's done the healing work, you're a woman that's done that inner work, and you know truly what is high value and high status, you can be pleasant with such ease. It should be the easiest thing for a feminine woman to be, is pleasant. And you know, one of the things I found is, girls, we're becoming super mean, okay? And that is not going to get you anywhere. You know, when I was less experienced, I used to think that it was all about playing hard to get. I'm not available, make the man wait 3 weeks or whatever the story is. And then he disappears, and then you're like, oh, but I really liked him, but they told me to be not so available. It's not a game. It's a simple honoring of your life. It's a simple honoring of the status that you have already going, and coupling that. So it's that yin and yang, it's that light and dark, is that balance, that I am not easy accessible. I'm not the girl you can just pop around to see. I'm not the girl you can just spontaneously take out. I'm the girl you make a plan for. I'm the girl that you plan and you execute. But when you do, thou shalt be rewarded. Okay. Thou shalt be rewarded with pleasantness. I'm gonna smile, and I'm gonna look cute, and I'm gonna show you some of that little bit of that admiration because you've done a good job. And your experience with me is gonna be so good that the lower access point becomes so valuable to you, that he begins to understand, geez, this girl is not just gonna give me her time willy-nilly. She's just not gonna avail herself to me. And it's not about, oh, if I don't pay, she's not coming. No. If I don't actually make a plan, let her know what the plan is, and put some effort, if I don't do any of that, I won't actually get access to her. But when I do, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be so worth it. This is a man who becomes motivated. Okay, this is that inspiration I was talking about. This is that feminine inspiration. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave it there, and then we're gonna come back for more on Tuesday. But I'm gonna give you some time to ask some questions before I jet off to the House of Swans. do you have any questions for me? 18 Queen of Hearts. And yeah, in the House of Swans, there is a free subscription. So you can do the free subscription with loads of wonderful things that you can do. And then if you're ever ready to do the paid one, you again can do that. But it's as cheap as chips, they say. It's very low entry price, so you should be able to do that. But if not, you can do the free. And it's all happening in the House of Swans. I love it in there. The girls, we just have such a blast. You are so welcome. I am Maxie. You're so welcome. Great. Any more questions? Are we done with the questions? I know sometimes it takes a while for me to see the questions, so I'll wait a little bit. And if we have no questions, I will see you on Tuesday. And these are really important dynamics to learn. And I know they can be a bit tricky to execute. Sometimes we don't quite know how to execute. And, you know, it's really difficult for us to create what we haven't seen, right? The mind needs to perceive it. The mind needs to see it. And when you see it, what you see is seamlessness, okay? When you see a woman that practices everything that I teach, it's a very seamless, harmonious connection. As swans, should we be busy and productive in our own lives before we start a serious relationship or date? I wouldn't use the word busy. Busy gives emotionally unavailable, okay? I truly believe that aloneness, not isolation and all the stuff that we do as a coping mechanism, but aloneness should not feel like loneliness to you. And your inner world should be so full that external stimuli from a man or even from friends or family is the icing on the cake, not the whole cake, okay? And the reason why we end up being busy is because we don't want to live inside our bodies, because our bodies carry the memory. Our bodies carry the memories of joy. Our bodies carry the memory of pain. And when there's a lot of inner pain, what happens is within our bodies, we no longer want to live there. So what we do is we latch out. I want a man, I gotta have a man. We go into this thing and a man comes into our life. It's like, oh, you're gonna save me from my pain. You're gonna save me from my inner world. And again, these are not conscious thoughts. These are all unconscious patterns, programs, systems, blueprints operating in your life. So I don't want to encourage busyness. I think that is a bad adaptation or coping mechanism to handle anxiousness or anxious attachments, okay, or trauma that hasn't been dealt with. Because what you will read to that man is you don't like him, you're not available, you're too busy. Busy is not sexy for men, okay? It's not something they find sexy. We find busy men sexy because we're like, okay, he's out there making that money, so he's not a loser, he's busy, my man is working, okay? But men don't find busy in a woman sexy. What you really want to be is grounded, restful, living a life you love. So if I have a book to read, currently I'm reading my sister's book. I wish I brought it with me so I could show you. It's called Lost in Africa. It's riveting. I was like, I can't believe my sisters and I were very literary. And one of my sisters wrote this book, and I might share it in the I'll probably share it at some point, but it's amazing. Called Lost in Africa. Okay. I love a good book. I love a good book. Love a good book. I am quite happy to make that the plan I had instead of getting on a last minute date. That's because it's more grounded, rested energy. It's not, I'm busy with all these things. In fact, the feminine is in fact receptive and available. Your availability is important. A man needs to feel like you're available. And that doesn't mean you got nothing better to do with your life. You're available. Okay. If you are always out with this person, that person, it might give the impression that you are not capable or competent to be somebody who can stay home and build things. And, because if we're talking about being a wife, a long-term partner, a man doesn't want to feel like he has to entertain you outdoors all the time, every day. You got to be busy, right? Unless he's that way, and then both of you can be that way together, right? But it's your ability to be rested in yourself, to have things that I'd probably say you've got to create a life you love, whatever that looks like. But before we start a serious relationship, what I really want is for us to do that inner work, that deliberate, intentional work, to get to the things that we've been postponing or afraid to look at, because a relationship won't fix it. I was in the house of I was in my other school group, the Soulmate Attraction System group, with the girls in there, and I was sort of teaching them something, and they were like, yeah, but is there any way we can still have it? And they had a hard time accepting this reality, this truth that I was trying to communicate to them, which was really that we get 51% of what we want out of a relationship. And the girls were like, yeah, but I want. And I was like, that's gotta go. You can't want all that. And what it boiled down to, and I had to say to the girls, you are trying to find fulfillment in relationship. If it's got to be this and it's got to be that, it's got to be that. The truth is, you're trying to find fulfillment in a relationship. Relationships are not designed for fulfillment. They're not supposed to fulfill you. You are supposed to be fulfilled. You are supposed to come whole, fulfilled with your life. You're supposed to come fulfilled emotionally. You're supposed to provide for yourself as hard as you can, all the things you would want in a relationship. If you come with I want fulfillment from this man, here's what's gonna happen. You are going to experience disappointment on a mass scale, okay? So busy, no. Productive for you, yeah. Great, make you feel good. Let's see if we can answer just one more question. I hope that answers your question, my love. How do I get my boyfriend to step up more? I feel like sometimes he does the bare minimum, but he legit is a good man, but maybe not aware. Oh, I love that question. Here's what I'm going to say to you, Mop7777, and here's what I'm going to say to you, to Candidate 740. How do we heal our inner world to create the life we love? Thank you for this, Mama's One. You are so welcome. Here's what I'm going to say. You have two options. Join the House of Swans, okay, and message me from within the group, and then we can continue to have this conversation. Or join the House of Swans and ask me the question right away in my live, because some of you girls do that. You just go straight into there and ask me the question that I wasn't able to answer because I need to be there right now. Because both are very simple questions that I'm happy to answer, but I have run out of time. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, my darlings. Thank you for joining me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.